So I used to train by lifting heavy all the time and used to lift for sets of less than 5 reps. And over time, I found that it wasn't the best way to get stronger. Like training for 5 reps or less, or even training for singles all the time, it works up to a certain point, but you're going to hit a plateau quickly. And just realizing that when I was seeing all these guys who are training for bodybuilding, and they're getting stronger than me, and they weren't intending to get like super strong, because training for reps actually makes you stronger faster. Actually, I find the best way to get like stronger overall is to have some days train for low reps and then have other days train for much higher reps. You train for low reps, it will be more neural adaptation, and you train for higher reps, it will be more muscular fatigue and less neural fatigue. So that way you get the best of both. Just looking into strongman competitions, you have to be really strong, but you also have to have a good amount of endurance, because some of their competitions require lifting a certain amount of weight or lifting a certain object for as many reps as possible. But then they also have competitions where they have to lift the most amount of weight. So that's why it's best to work at both strength and both endurance. There's no point being able to exert so much force if you cannot exert it for a certain amount of time. And there's also no point having so much endurance if you can't exert yourself with a certain amount of force. So it's best to have both strength and endurance. I looked into some of the powerlifting programs, or some type of periodization programs like West Side or conjugate training methods, and they don't always lift heavy all the time. They have max effort days and they have dynamic effort days. So my interpretation would be max effort days would be lifting close to as much weight as possible for a short amount of reps. And then dynamic effort days will be using a lot less weight and either train it for a very high amount of reps or train it for explosive speed. That's more like changing the force equation that I talked about in an earlier video. Force equals mass times acceleration. On a max effort day, it will be high amounts of mass and a low amount of acceleration, because it's very hard to move a really heavy weight at a really high speed, versus a dynamic effort day, which will be a low amount of mass and a very high amount of acceleration. I remember I kept working towards a single rep, training close to maximum weight, especially for the deadlifts, and I only worked up to a certain amount of weight. The most I ever deadlifted was about 375, and that was the behind the back deadlift type, or even the Jefferson type deadlift. And then when I tried to bring it up to 380 or 385, I could never achieve that type of lift. I found myself was really tired all the time. And then when I tried to deadlift 315 for reps, I couldn't do it that well at first. I remember one time I had a challenge with another guy to deadlift 315 pounds using the Jefferson type deadlift to see who can do the most reps. And this guy has never done a Jefferson type deadlift before. And I was shocked when he was able to deadlift more reps than I was. I know I was already worn out from my earlier workout, but it made me realize I have to train for reps to get stronger. I have to have some lighter days. Also, this guy hasn't worked out in over a month, so he still maintained most of his strength from his previous workouts. If I see people who do not train for powerlifting or strongman, and their main focus is bodybuilding, and they are actually using more weight than myself to deadlift for 1 rep, then I know that there's something wrong with the way I was training the whole time. And these aren't people who weigh like 100 pounds more than me. I'm talking about people who weigh at most 20 pounds more than me. I know having 20 pounds more than myself gives you an advantage to deadlift more weight, but that should not be an excuse to why they were able to deadlift more weight than me. I realized my program was not that good, that I have to do something to be able to deadlift more weight than them while maintaining the same weight.